it's like Back to the Future. Man, I waited this year ago. Does anybody know? And are we going to live through another year because of the incompetence of the leadership? The people who create, I mean, look at, we should be following what the United Kingdom has done or what the United States has done. You know, they're ready now, were ready for, they had a brutal time during the first wave and the second wave, but they used that experience to actually have an answer for the next wave. They're vaccinating very fast, they're doing the right kind of curve. But in India, what's taking priority, folks? Other people don't care. There are these rallies and Kumbh Melas and, you know, all this other stuff that, you know, at the end of the day, I guess we've got what we deserve. We voted them, right? But this is the depressing news. Daily cases at 2.6 lakhs, deaths at 184. Grim milestone, India goes past 2 lakhs new COVID cases. You know, and the BJP ruled states continue to obfuscate what's happening in their states. Gujarat COVID toll higher than official count, says the High Court, right? Gujarat is facing tsunami of cases. High Court pulls up state government. Well, pulling up is not going to help, right, is it? Right. Court seeks government reply on COVID situation. By the way, the Chief Minister now of Bengaluru has gone the second time, right? What's happening in Uttarakhand? Night curfew in Uttarakhand, but not at Kumbh Mela. But the Kumbh Mela is the real problem, and you have it in Uttarakhand, not in the Kumbh Mela. Fantastic. Yes, UP is going to have a difficult time. Neither do they have the medical facilities, nor medical supplies, nor the doctors. They do have some ancient medicine witchcraft. UP's response falls short as cases spike. And this is what happens at the Kumbh Mela. Second largest akhada exits Kumbh after Nirvani head dies. Well, God didn't help him. Nobody helped him. UP imposes night curfew in 10 districts with more than 2,000 active cases. Well, where is there any good news, right? Delhi has gone nuts. I know there are 300 beds waiting in a hospital. I know Gujarat High Court questions data, raises remdesivir myths. So the data is being questioned, and that's a problem, right? And when the people want to talk sense, you know that the politicians don't care, and the election commission is totally sold out, right? It's compromised, not sold out, compromised. DD cites COVID, says club remaining poll phases. Not possible replies. They say, no, the EC does not care of the number of people who die, folks. Fantastic. In current COVID wave, docs say many kids younger than 5 among patients. And yesterday, Kejriwal had an incredible statistic. 65% of the people now infected are below the age of 35, folks. And it's about time, I guess, now we've got to have to move fast. Give free ration to the poor. Government urged all the opposition states. Surge in patients, cases among colleagues, doctors and nurses burnt out. Obviously, you know, they just about got some relief, and that's what happens, right? Just about now we are getting it. Import licenses for foreign vaccine in 3 days, says government. They should have procured these vaccines. Let me talk about the vaccine, right? Here's the challenge. And what the untold story is. The United States government actually funded AstraZeneca, actually funded Moderna, right? To get it upscale. So they deserve and have the right to have first dibs on stock. Guess what in India, right? Serum Institute didn't develop a vaccine. It's just feeding off AstraZeneca. And all the other Indian vaccines that are being developed, the government didn't have. Where was our government? This was a time for them to have put their hands in, but they were nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen except Atmanirbhar means you do it. We're just going to stand by the wayside, but you do it. Railways adds more migrant trains as curbs return. Back to the future, like I said. Students interrupted. Systemic failure to stop COVID resurgence has darkened the clouds of educational outcomes. And this is really, really a challenging time for students, folks. 2 years in a row. Look at their future, and all because of our incompetence and unpreparedness at the senior leadership level of the country, folks. More after break. Talking a little bit about farmers, they seem to have vanished from the front pages. Have they vanished from the roads? No, but there's a huge attempt by the government and through the media, through the government to project that the farmers' agitation has failed. Nothing from the truth, because there was small news. Farmers blocked e-waste a couple of days ago. Then you had, obviously it's still on because Tomar came out and said, citing COVID, Tomar asked farmers to call off their stir, come for talk. So obviously it's not gone anywhere, right? Then you had a situation where somebody says, farmer leaders target BJP in Bengal but left. So they went to Bengal. I'm hoping they continue to stay in Bengal, some of them at least. And then you have a situation where the Supreme Court comes out, can't block roads, cause continual disruption, says Supreme Court. But I would hope the Supreme Court would come out and allow the old place of agitation, which is Jantar Mantar or Ram Leela, the other Ram Leela Maidan. And this situation has happened because the government has tried to ensure that all agitations are out of sight, out of mind. Right? That's what's happened. But like I said, it's not going anywhere. Punjab farmer leaders say will begin march to Delhi on April 21st. So not gone anywhere. And this was really disturbing. New Zealand cops may also look into role of some other Indians. So what had happened in New Zealand apparently is the Sikhs were targeted by none other than, not by white New Zealanders, but by the majority community that has settled there, Indian majority community, that's the Hindus. So obviously you've taken this fight onto foreign shores, and if this is not shut down immediately, this is going to have hell to pay in at least countries like Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the United Kingdom, and the United States. And none of these countries we really want to have trouble with. But some good stuff out of the High Court. Finally, civil disturbance can't be UAPA offence. High Court upholds bail to Gogoi. And that poor fellow, it's time. Akhil Gogoi cleared in one NIA case. And I'm glad, because he is just, as they said, he is just an opposing voice to the current government, right? And here again, some good, but I was hoping that he would get bail too, but he's still in jail. Conspiracy charge against Khalid unwarranted, says court. Umar gets bail in a riots case, but to stay in jail because of the other case. But here is the other thing. If you remember, I had spoken about this, right? And this is a statement that has come out really right by Supreme Court Judge Justice D.Y. Chandra. Outlawing untouchability hasn't ended discrimination, and hence you really can't get rid of reservations till that happens. Look at what Samajwadi Party is doing. SP plans Dalit Diwali ahead of 2022 polls. Interesting, because I think Akhilesh realizes that losing the entire Dalit vote is what cost him UP really badly, besides the much talked about EVM machines, right? And here we are. From PM to students, the life lesson he distills for children in Pariksha Pe Charcha comes from his lived experiences. His lived experiences, folks. Don't take Smriti Irani's word for it. His lived experience, he's about 60 plus or 55 years old. Those are not relevant in today's time. Ask the parents. He has no kids. How will he even know what the children have gone through and what pariksha they've learned? I know for a fact they've not learned in any pariksha except get depressed. And what does PM says? NEP futuristic as per global standards. Now, I don't care about the NEP. I want proliferation of pathshalas at the primary school level. NEP can come whenever, later, whenever. But till we invest in pathshalas, primary schools, no matter what we do, we end up coming out of this hole that we are in. Caste clash between Brahmin and Rajput groups over control of pond leaves 5 dead in Madhubani. So the Dalits continue to get hammered no matter where. PM celebrating Guru Tegh Bahadur's birth anniversary, spiritual privilege for me. I wonder what kind of spiritual privilege, right? This is kind of Johnny come lately here, right? But they are facing some huge problems, obviously now. You know, the having stretched so far and having bought up the people everywhere. I mean, all the other opposition parties. Here's what they're having problem in: the arrival of a new force in Tripura. Tripura Indigenous Alliance defeats ruling in BJP. And that, folks, is interesting. Cheers.